You may be wondering, why am I currently outside at night? It's actually 6 in the morning. I did not sleep at all last night. I was kind of working on a lot of shit. But I do want to talk about a time where me and a few friends did stay up the entire night. Now, that might not be unheard of for many different types of people out there who have friends. I believe that this is a story that you want to hear. You may not believe me when I tell you this story, but trust me when I say this.
Jesus.
There's a big ass moth out here that keeps attacking me. Damn it. Anyways, this story involves creepy creatures. Like I was saying, this is definitely a story you're probably not going to believe me on, but I will tell you that this is 100% true. To get right into it, this is one of those examples of how I am so grateful to have so much fun with friends, you know, sometimes in the best of situations, sometimes the scariest situations. We were playing poker in my basement at night. One of my friends, his name was Brian, he had to go home. He had a work shift the next morning at about 7. It was completely dark outside, and I live in the middle of the woods. He starts heading out, and we decided to play more poker. We're relaxing and everything. But out of nowhere, one of my friend's phones, his name is Dustin, his phone starts going off. And it's Brian. And this is like 15 seconds right after he left. He's like freaking out, like he saw like one of the scariest things he's ever seen. He's like, guys, did you hear anything when you're outside? Well, this thing jumped across my car. It looked like a white humanoid figure, and it hit my car while I was driving. It made me sped off. I almost crashed, and it was like right outside Brendan's driveway. Spooky, right? Now this isn't a new thing. I've actually been hearing about these things, whatever they're called, scientifically for a while now. Me and a couple friends decided to go walking around at night in town when one of them told me the story of a similar encounter with a similar looking creature. They didn't have a name for them, but they told us to sprint and run if we ever see something like them. If you're probably wondering, these creatures do sound like the creepypasta of the Rake, like a Skinwalker or a Wendigo, but the thing is that none of these creatures ever attacked anyone in these stories. Obviously these stories could be fake for all I know. But it is a very interesting perspective when you consider that all these people, and later that you're going to find out, have never spoken to each other. Not once. Not that I know of. Now, what I'm about to show you is some interviews I did with a couple of friends of mine, as well as a bonus interview with someone who recently had an encounter. I'm going to roll the clip for you.
I was coming home for Christmas break about 2 years ago, and when I got home, nobody else was home, so all the lights were off, and it was pretty dark outside. And so I parked at the very top of my driveway. So when I got out of my car and I locked the doors, it illuminated the brake lights, and instantaneously when I did that, I heard like a hiss at the bottom of my driveway, kind of like a cat. I'm not going to imitate that because nobody wants to hear that. But so I looked down, it caught my attention, and there were these 3. I'll just call them animals. I guess they were. If I had to describe them, it didn't look like they had fur. They were kind of skinned like deer. But I remember, it's been such a long time. I don't remember exactly, what they look like. But I remember thinking at that time that like there's no way those were deer or anything like normal that I've seen before in the area. So when I saw them, they looked like I said, they looked like they had, it was just skin, not fur, and they were like kind of human sized but kind of smaller, and they kind of stood on their hind legs and hopped around and like pranced like this. But I had a long day. I wasn't gonna think too much about it, so I kind of just went on with my day. But it was really creepy, like those things. I call them Bouncy Boys, and that's what that's how I refer to them. But
what type of animal do you think it could have been if it was a logical thing?
I mean, the most logical thing it could have been would be deer, but I don't know if deer just hiss at people like feral cats. That's not something I've experienced or seen or heard of. The Bouncy Boys are out there, and they're coming for you. It's gonna be you next. Stay on your toes.
We were at a party. Everyone was just about to head home for the night. We didn't think much of it, but sometime 5 minutes before we all took off, we heard some scream coming out of the woods. We were freaked out, but it could have been anything. Could have been a barn owl or a fox. I was the last one heading out. I made a left turn out of his driveway. I was going down the road, dirt road, dark. It's wooded, reeds everywhere. I was going about 50 miles per hour, I was fucking terrified at that point. Out of reflex, I feel myself slamming on my brakes. I look out in front of me and there's this, I thought it was just some kind of drug addict naked bolting through the street. It kind of looked like a naked deer in a way. Like how naked mole rats look kind of weird. He looks at me. This hissing noise. I don't know how fast it can run. I don't know if it can catch up with me. But I think at that point, I just slammed on the gas after it crossed. Going about a quarter mile down the road. I'm still going 50 on this back road. I look to the left of me, and it's running parallel with my car. About 3 seconds into that, it looks at me, makes another hissing noise, darts off into the reeds. At that point, I'm terrified, so I slam back on the brakes, call my buddy up, say, hey, I saw one of those things. He wasn't sure, it was worth believing me or not, but following that, no one's really had any doubts with all the activity going on around here. And
if you were to identify it for a real animal, could you?
I mean, looking at it, like I said, it had this shape of a deer, like with the rump coming up. But it didn't have hooves, it had hands. I don't know what I saw, but I know it wasn't a deer. I don't even know what the point of this interview is, man. I want to forget the whole situation.
While editing this film, I got in contact with my boom operator, Kenneth, who said he had an experience a while back. Do you want to tell me your side of the story? I finally got you in here.
So, I like to ride motorcycle. That's kind of like that's my hobby. So one day I ended up going, I don't know, it's kind of a local area, but I went to Big Fish Lake. I was just kind of sitting there, just like looking at the lake. The sun was going down. By the time I was getting ready to leave, the sun was completely down. And then all of a sudden I heard kind of like a weird screech from the woods. It didn't sound right. It didn't set with me. But I didn't freak out too bad. I just thought, I'm getting out of here. So I went and I got my key turned and everything, started getting ready. So after I got my key turned and everything, all of a sudden I kind of heard like paws running up behind me. I'm thinking, and so I looked behind me. I had my tail lights on my bike, and all of a sudden I see this thing, and it started just like running at me really fast. And so I didn't get that good of a way. I didn't look at it very good, just because it was dark out and I only had my taillights to illuminate it. I think I've heard there was another guy that seemed to like taillights or something for some reason. But so I went and I got my bike started. I didn't even let it warm up or anything. I just headed out of there, and I looked behind me. I didn't have my brake lights on, but I had the running lights on. I could see it. It was kind of like hopping after me. It was on all fours, kind of just jumping. And I've heard similar stuff about that from the rumors and all that, but I'm glad I moved out of there. I don't ever want to live around here at night. I only come back here during the day after that.
The fact that they all compared this thing to a deer got me researching. Apparently deer do in fact hiss.
Not sending the mail buck to charge after me.
My conclusion is this. Deer are everywhere in our town, so yes, all three could have just seen a deer. But why were they all humanoid according to the witnesses? I am skeptical, but I do believe they saw something odd. Officially out of coffee. Finally, I'm starting to see some daylight. I do believe it is a doe, or a deer of some kind that makes the noises that everyone was explaining that these creatures make. And we do have a lot of different animals out in these woods. We have deer, we have coyotes, we have red foxes. They all make really freaky sounds, and they also sometimes make an illusion of something else in the woods. Am I saying I don't believe anyone that's telling me these stories? Kind of neutral. I myself have never seen one, but I did experience the screaming sound that someone else has told me about. But once again, it could have been a red fox or a doe, etc. That's all that all the time I've had. I've been hearing things in the woods behind me all night. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you liked the video, please comment, share with your friends, maybe give it some thumbing up. If you loved the video, please subscribe. I am attempting to make more content every single week. I'm attempting to make content every so often. Also, please let me know in the comments if you like videos like this, where I make just simple sit-down videos, or when I have people just, reenact stuff for me. It'd be really helpful to know what you guys think and where the channel should go from now on. Goodbye, everyone, and I hope to see you guys next time.